Man, when you are truly honest, there's been only a couple times in my life where I've been like truly honest with God. The day before I met my wife, I was literally saying, please don't bless me till I'm ready. And that's one thing I'm trying to get to be able to be 100% myself, who I was designed and created to be. It goes back to who you are and what you did as a kid. We're talking about purpose. It's like, well, what were you gifted with? Like, what's your natural ability? And a lot of people,
superpowers.
yeah, well, a lot of people run from that, or they do it based on what their parents wanted them to do. And that's from their lack, you know? Running from the storm, you have to embrace the storm. You have to be present in the storm, or else you're not going to be able to get to the next level, because that storm is designed to make you grow in order to get to that next level. And whatever that level is, I'm not talking about just earning more money. It's like, how do I make my marriage better? How do I be a better dad? How do I be a better friend? How do I listen better, you know? Yo, what's up, guys? This is the Seed Time and Harvest podcast, where we hope to inspire you to work on the process and stop focusing on the results so much. I feel like it's an epidemic in our world, especially with millennials and Gen X, or whatever the Gen is, Gen Z. I mean, what are we going to have after Gen Z, right?
I don't know.
But I think that's one thing me and you have kind of learned in our life is, instead of just focusing on the results so much, let me focus on what I need to do in order to get the result I want. That's what I hope anyone gets from listening to this, to focus on the process and not the results so much.
You're always you're like, every time I've talked to you, you've always, like, you're a well-read guy. You pay attention to information and stuff. When did you kind of transition into, like, has it always been something like you have just like a natural curiosity for, like, history and past and God and science, and what kind of got you into, because you're not just born that way. Like, you literally read things, you pay attention to stuff, you're watching articles, you're going down the rabbit hole on YouTube, you know, and then you retain it. So you're clearly interested in it. Like, were you in college? Were you in high school? Were you like a nerd like that when you were younger? But then just like, I don't know. Like, when did you start becoming that person?
Well, I know exactly when it started. It was 2013. And it was right when I got done playing football. And to kind of give you the backstory on that, you know, I was extremely shy as a kid. Like, I hated having red hair, hated having freckles. My ears were big. Like, I couldn't stand anything about myself. But then I look back on it now and it's like, well, yeah, you were taller than most kids. You were good at sports, but I never saw myself that way. Okay. Have you ever looked at a picture of yourself and remembered how you thought about yourself at the time that picture was taken?
Oh, yeah.
I've been doing that recently. Like, wow, man, like you looked at yourself so poorly. And my whole method of validation was sports. Like, I had to make it to the NFL so that I could get the girls, so I could have money. And it's really like a pursuit of being loved, you know, and being enough. Like, that's, I think, a word that's thrown around a lot. Like, you're enough as you are, you know, but it really is true. But I think it's taken advantage of a little bit. But I never felt like I was enough. It was I never could accomplish enough in order to be loved enough. So no matter how many girls I slept with or whatever I did or how many passes, I was always extremely self-critical.
Yeah.
Like, my coaches used to say, Nate's good until he drops a pass. Because I would just focus on that one play. Like, I could make 4 one-handed catches for touchdowns, and then I'd drop a hitch, and then I was in the tank. And it was all about how I saw myself, right? And, you know, 2013 came around. I had been the number 1 leading receiver in the whole Arena Football League. How old were you? I was 29.
Okay.
Yeah. And when I was 26, I had to work out with the Steelers. I had worked my way up to my dream, which I didn't believe I was worthy of. And talk about self-sabotage. That's probably another episode. It was a constant self-sabotage. And so I ended up being the leading receiver, and then I started overworking and literally worked myself into my first major injury, which was a sports hernia. And it just literally, like, you overwork and your body doesn't heal. And I was popping 5-hour energies to go to practice and pain pills and all this other stuff. And then it was 3 years in a row, sports hernia. Then I broke my ankle. Then I separated my shoulder. And I went from being one of the top, I was playing for the Chicago Rush. And they told me when I brought them in that they were like, a couple years ago, you were the top 3 players in the whole league we wanted. And I got offered by like every team to come play for them. And I was playing for them and I just became a guy. Like I wasn't an impact player. I was just kind of out there. And I remember going to my best friend's wedding in Philadelphia. So I missed a game. I come back, I get cut from the team. And something told me just stay in Chicago. You know, don't go home. I just never saw myself going back to Pennsylvania where I'm from. And so I had a friend I'd met literally at an event at a church, I think, and hit him up and I was like, hey dude, like, can I stay on your couch for a little while? And he's like, yeah, sure. I got you, man. Go stay on his couch. And I remember that night I'm in the city, I'm in Logan Square, Chicago, and I'm walking up and down these streets. I'm talking to my girlfriend at the time and I see this dog like way off in the distance. And I'm like, oh, I'm cool. But there was something like off about the dog's stance. It just looked a little bit too aggressive. And this dog just comes tearing at me. And I'm on the phone and I literally just let out this big like, ah. And I was like, I'm not going down. Like, it's like, I just got cut from this team. I'm living on my buddy's couch. Oh my goodness. And it was like a pit bull. Like it wasn't like, it wasn't like a little chump dog. This wasn't like a Chihuahua.
Okay.
And I just remember like, man, I'm not going out like this. And through that process,
did the dog attack you?
Nah, it was a Mexican standoff, legit. Like it was like you swing, and I was wearing some like Chuck Taylors, and I was like, I'm gonna kick this dog in the throat or something, but I'm not going down like this. And then the owner, he calls him, and the dog runs around the corner, and I was just like shaking, and it was like this moment of, man, everything I've been doing hasn't been working, and I feel like that was like the first time like I really truly like surrendered. And I had a conversation. I was like, God, man, my way's not working. I need to do it your way, you know? And I really, truly felt like that's been a journey. You know, when I was like raised in the church and everything, we were taught like the moment you get saved, right? You like turn your life over to God, your life completely switches. You're a heroin addict, and all of a sudden you're this. For me, it's completely opposite. Like it's a step process. It's seed time and harvest, literally. And you start something, but then there's a little bit more is revealed to you, and a little bit more because you're not ready for the harvest yet, you know? And so that was like the beginning of it. And I'm living on my buddy's couch. I start working at a restaurant as a waiter. You know, there was a cool opportunity, met a lot of cool people there. And then I just started training people on the weekends to make a little extra cash. And that started taking off. Your gift makes way for you, right? And that led to group fitness, and I ended up being like a Nike trainer and working with Reebok and Lululemon and all this other stuff that's super cool. But I just, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, my life has suddenly changed. And so to answer your question through that long-winded answer,
that's,
you know, that's when I really got introduced to my mentor. As I talked about last episode, Richie, he introduced me to Think and Grow Rich. You know, as a man thinketh, so he is in his heart, you know, and understanding that your mind, what your thoughts are, literally creates your life. And once that light bulb kind of went on to me, it was like, I can change this.
Yeah.
You know, I'm literally bottom. Like I got no money. I'm living on a couch. I'm in a new city. Football's gone. My whole identity's gone. You know, I don't really know anybody here. And it was just like, I'm going to figure it out. And that's kind of been a journey of my life, you know? And so that was 2013. You know, I really started to surrender my life. And that's a process in and of itself too. Like there's little pieces that you still keep holding on to. And that old man.
Addictions,
you know,
bullshit, the vices.
Porn, big time, you know,
whatever.
Like it's a process of surrendering these little pieces because you can't surrender it all at once.
No.
Because you don't even know what you need to surrender,
exactly,
you know?
Or what it's doing to you.
Exactly. But it's like you got to let something bigger than yourself start working through you. And like we talked about last time, like how do you know you're on the right purpose? I think when it's easy, not that it's easy, but there's an ease to it.
Yeah, the energy. You have energy to power through this shit.
For sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, that's now.
So Think and Grow Rich, was that the first like go-to? Was it? Did you read it or listen to it?
The first book I ever really read was Rich Dad Poor Dad.
You know, I just started reading that.
Really?
I've never fucking read it.
Dude,
I
that book
just
is
started
amazing.
reading it.
And that's another journey in of itself is reading, right? I used to just read a book to say I read a book, but didn't really take the information in.
Yeah.
And so now I listen. I'm an Audible guy. I'll listen to a book 5, 10, 15 times just in the car.
Really?
Because I'm driving a lot, you know? So that's like a journey of not grinding as well. Because I used to just power through a book. And how'd you like that book? I read it.
I don't remember shit.
But that's not being present either. So like, what's the point of reading a book if you're not going to remember it, right? So I hope that answers your question.
No, it does, because it's like for me to you, like,
yeah,
as your friend, as someone that is, you know, aligning with you and trying to be like, look, dude, I don't know where this is going, but I do know we think alike. I do know that we have the same values. I know we've had a lot of similar struggles, right? And I don't think you. I don't look at you like you're below me, and you don't look at me like I'm below you, and I don't look at you like you're above me, and I don't think you look at me like I'm above you. No matter what the hierarchy is of the business we're building and how it came about, like, we just met at different times. You know what I'm saying? Had I met you in 2016 when I got licensed, we would have done the similar things, and that's why I'm, you know, wanting to start this and build this with you. And so I think it's important to know, because every person that makes these big shifts in their life, they know when it came, right? Because you level up, and then it gets harder and harder and harder. And so have you had another one since 2013? Have you have you gone through, and then it's probably like, we could be a huge thing, like maybe when your son or your daughter was born, or you met your wife or whatever, like, have you notice, okay, 2013 was when I'm like, man, I've got to switch some things around just in general. And then was there another one? Like, did you go through and be like, I bet you can go through and go, oh yeah, and then there was this, and then there was this.
Oh yeah.
And now, and you're going through all these levels.
Dude,
You know what I mean?
there's levels to everything, right? And that was like the first time I really hit rock bottom, where it was like, man, my way is not working. Like, I need something better than my own understanding. Like, lean not on your own understanding, right? And so the next one I really remember was when I moved here. You know, I was so tied to like my outcome as a trainer. Moved to LA. I'm gonna be this big podcaster out here, and I'm gonna do this to finally get love and validation. And it's been a journey for me of like always seeking out, especially from males, you know, coaches and people that I perceived as like higher than me on a certain level. I think that's part of the balance thing too, is like understanding you might be at a higher level than me in one area of life. I might be in another area, but being okay with that, and also being okay, like we touched on last episode, like being around people that have something different than you, because that's going to make you feel uncomfortable. Oh yeah. Like if you're in a terrible relationship, you're probably going to find yourself around people in great relationships. Oh yeah. And you're going to want to isolate yourself from that unless you're humble enough. Talk about our core values too, to realize like, I don't have all the answers. I need growth here. And it's like, I've looked at my life for a long time, and I've been like, I'm the brokest one of all of my circles. And it's like, well, what is that teaching me? I remember the first prophetic word I ever got back in 2016 was that I have a wealth anointing on me, that you're designed to create businesses and to achieve this and show people how to change their life. And that seems really cool when you get that. Like, that sounds great. And then to have it multiple times told you as well, but then to be struggling paying rent for the next like eight years and never being able to get ahead, and then being in debt to the IRS and all this other crap. It's like, but I'm super grateful. Like, you hear people talk about their journey, talk about cancers and stuff like that. Oh, I wouldn't change that at all because it's made me who I am now. And so like, I wouldn't change anything I've been through. And that's another piece of like, oh, my story's not as crazy as Alex's story or whoever. I haven't been a heroin addict or whatnot. I'm not saying you've been, but like
there are some good people that have. Sure, and they fucking made it somehow.
But like, when you can talk about something, you know you're healed from it too. If it's still underneath the surface and you want to keep it hidden, it's probably not healed yet either. Yeah. So
I mean, it's like hearing you go through all that, like it's so cool. It's my favorite thing. Is there is a way to crack all these codes, and what keeps you down, like you can, whether you're broke, you owe money or whatever, what keeps you there is you don't have the belief that you're meant for more. You don't have the you're sitting there and you're like, I'm never gonna get out of this. That's true.
Whether you think you can, you think you can't, you're right.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You just said it. I'm never gonna climb out of this debt. Yeah. Nope. You're not.
Yeah.
You know, I'm never gonna be that fit. I'm never gonna have what he has or she has. And you're just, whatever it is, like if you say I'm never going to, no, you're absolutely right. You're never going to. And I still struggle, dude. I struggle so much because I've gone through, you know, I was on a specific cloud. It wasn't cloud 9, but I was in some clouds, right? I was doing very, very well with real estate and with B1 and what we were building and Zillow and all this shit. But real estate was also easier, right? So like, I also don't like to be like, I fucking did all this. And it's like, hold on, interest rates are at 2 3/4.
Yeah.
We were all crushing it. Like,
throw a sign in the yard, get 20 offers.
if you were listing a house, you had 17 offers that day. Like, you weren't good. The market was on fire. You were there. You were available. So yes, some did better than others. And yes, we grew we were in the top 1% and everything else. But everyone was winning.
Yeah.
Right. And so, again, like back to the real trends, like I did very, very, very well, better than most of my peers and other people, but I'm still kind of like, yeah, we were all getting it, you know, so I knew how to get it better than you did, or I was willing to gamble on all this Zillow spend or whatever. But then I'm going through and I sell my house and I buy this big ass house and I'm going through this mess and I, you know, and I'm like, I'm out of here. I'm going to change my life completely. Right. And I separated from a wife of 15 years and which was just terrifying. Still, I mean, just saying it out loud, knowing that someone's going to see this on TV or I'm sorry, on the internet, it's scary to me. Like, but I did it. Right. And I made this huge pivot and there was all this noise behind it. And there was all this like sadness and everyone had looked at us that we were this like perfect couple, this power couple and all this stuff. And there's a lot of truth to a lot of this, right? We were wonderful. We did build great things. We were a great looking couple. We have gorgeous children. There's so many facts to who she and I were, and I still love her to death. And I will forever. She's the mother of my kids. We grew up together. So I don't ever hate her. And ever, we went through all of this stuff where her family was this and our friends were this, and we were in this like war because we'd built these lives together. In the meantime, middle of this like personal, just like atomic bomb goes off and like in your living room. And then because it's an atomic bomb, it follows, I mean, the blast radius is just everywhere. It touches your business. It touches your new house. It touches your parents' house. It touches boom. It just, it doesn't, what it does is it levels your house for sure.
Yeah.
And it fucks up everybody else's because there's noise now everywhere. And so when you're going through something like this, and first I was like, okay. And I thought about it all wrong when it happened of like, I have enough money to get through this. The market isn't going to change. I can turn 60, 70, 80 grand a month. No problem. Right? No problem.
Yeah.
It's the 100 to 150 grand a month that gets hard. But man, 60 to 80K a month, man, I'll drop that every month. No problem. Right? Dude, I'm talking, this was December 21. I kind of muscled through first quarter and something was happening out there. Like something was like, I could just feel the shift, whether it was my foot was off the gas, this huge personal and emotional, battle I was fighting, my children, I'm living in a different place. My ex-wife or wife at the time is nuts. I'm in a new relationship that I'm kind of like keeping away from my kids, or all this stuff was going on. And I'm like, so I probably did take my foot off the gas at work the way, and I definitely wasn't driving it the way I was preaching it today at the meeting. Right. And like all of a sudden, we merge and we go through all these things with Move Mortgage and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, dude, rates went from 3.25%, 3 3/4 to 7, 6 3/4, 7 1/4 overnight. Boom, June.
Yeah, it's when I
22.
Started.
and I remember being like, oh fuck. Like I knew that the run I was on, the race I was winning had come to an end like that. Like I'm talking like that. And I was like, and I couldn't show it. I couldn't run out the office and be like, we're fucked. Everybody. No, I was fucked. You know what I mean? Like, we're all gonna this is over. All the fun is over. No, but like, it wasn't that we were fucked. I was fucked. Everyone else was fine. I'm like watching everyone else in the office. No one's panicking but me because no one else has $40,000 a month worth of shit they have to pay. Everyone else has been smart, right? And I'm like, how long can I started calculating how long can I hold on here and not let anyone know that I'm gonna that this turbulence is coming. I don't know quite when it's gonna come, and it might crash my plane. Right? Like I might go down.
See the storm on the horizon.
Oh yeah. I might go down, and there's no way to avoid the storm. We got to go through it, but how do I get through this? And that is when I was like, it was at that moment, and I definitely went through some things and, made some poor decisions. I was drinking like quite a bit. Yeah. Actually, I didn't realize how much I was drinking till recently. My kids and I were talking, because I don't drink anymore. I'll have a drink, like I'm talking like a glass of wine.
Yeah.
You're
not pounding.
No.
As
far
scotch.
as being drunk. Yeah. No. And so, but my kids were like, yeah, Dad, you were drinking like tequila like every day. And I was like, oh fuck. Yeah. And Haley was looking at me like, you were, dude. Like I was there. Yeah. I saw you drinking it. You don't realize it at all. And so like, I was around. What saved me, the reason for this whole story, and I get into all this. I think we could, another time we can really get into this. But like,
basically this is recorded therapy for me and you.
Yeah. Well, that's it. You guys want to know
with a camera on.
Yeah. And like, but what kept me as a whole, and still to this day, because I'm not out of like, dude, I'm still in that fucking single engine Cessna. Yeah. Like I'm still in there. Dude, and the storm started in December of 21. Yeah. But now what's different is I'm looking and I can see on the horizon, like the sun. You know how like the movie? Yeah. And I'm like, but then there's times where I've come out and we're in the sun and you're like, and then they're like, nope, clouds again. Yeah. Boom. Yeah. And so what's been most important for me, what I've noticed through all of this shit is like, who are you around? Because there were certain groups of people that I was around during the storm that played certain roles for me. There were the drinking and partying people, right? There were like the positive people. Then there were the leeches. Then there were the ones that were only around because they wanted to see just how bad it was, so they could go tell other people how bad it was for me. So friends of mine or hers would come around me just to get the dirt from me, to see me hurting or bleeding, and be like, "Yeah, I've always wanted to see you fucking." You know what I mean? And then they go and they run off and they tell that, and you're like, "Damn!" So I really got to and I went through. Unfortunately, I had to go through all of it, the drinking and carrying on, the blowing money of like little things, like I didn't like go do luxury, but things like food and drinking or whatever else. Yeah. Then the friends that were around that just wanted to hear my problems, and then, oh shit, let me pick up the pieces with my kids but it was the business partnerships I had in here. It was constantly being honest about what I was going through. I'm not okay. Yeah. No. Fuck no. Yeah. Not good today. No. It's up all night. Really? Yeah. Yep. Like, you didn't go to bed at all? No. Yeah. Why? You know why. Yeah. I was partying my face off, and I was drinking, and I was carrying on all night, And being able to be honest about that stuff. And then finally, like, I get to this point, and this is over a year ago, and I'm like, I was seriously like, show me what needs to change. It's very similar to what you did. And I guess you can say I was speaking to God. I mean, who else are you talking to when you're talking like this?
Yeah.
Show me what needs to change. Slap me in my face. I'm a big dumb idiot. I need you to slap me in my face and tell me what I need. And dude, less than 3 weeks later, Haley calls me and she's like, we're having a baby. And we're not supposed to have, like, she wasn't supposed, it was not very easy for her to get pregnant. I was not in the spot, like, physically. Doctors are like, good luck with that. You know, like, there's a pretty slim chance for you to do this. Just been pretty hard on your body there. Like, your count's low. You guys can probably have unprotected sex and be fine. That's, and then she, it just wasn't really in our cards. And so we had kind of just accepted, like, we probably won't ever have kids. Boom. And it wasn't very long after, like, I was like, I don't know what to do. Give me something bigger than me, because I'm self-sabotaging again. Dude, this is a year ago. And even though, like, I can put it on and come in, like, I wasn't okay. I knew that I still had to run the race.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. I need something bigger than me, because it's obvious. Clearly, this isn't. And obviously, I was there for my kids, but I was like, I needed that boost. I was going to be fine. I could have operated the way I was, muscle memory.
Yeah.
Taken care of Mulan and Jet, handled all my stuff, but I'd have gone through the motions to get through it.
Yeah.
But I was like, I need fucking rocket fuel. And then it was like, you're having a baby.
I think one of the things me and you click on is that I know immediately when something's not right with you, even though probably no one else does.
Yeah, you always call me out, dude.
Because you do the same thing to me. I'm like, dang, I couldn't hide it from Alex, And that's probably a good thing. It's probably a confirmation that I need you in my life. And I'm never question that. But the thing that, like, I was really thinking about when you were saying that whole story is, I think a lot of times we run from the storm because we don't want that discomfort, but the storm is actually a gift and it's meant to grow us. And the second thing I really thought of was, like, man, when you are truly honest, there's been only a couple times in my life where I've been, like, truly honest with God. Like, had a real conversation. It was the day before I met my wife. I was literally saying, please don't bless me till I'm ready. I said that, and it wasn't like I'm on my knee. It was just like in that moment of, like, all right, I'm truly honest. And that's one thing I'm trying to get to, is to be able to be truly, like, 100% myself, who I was designed and created to be. And I think it goes back to who you are and what you did as a kid. We're talking about purpose. It's like, well, what were you gifted with? Like, what's your natural ability? And a lot of people, a lot of people run from that, or they do it based on what their parents wanted them to do. And that's from their lack, But running from the storm, you have to embrace the storm. You have to be present in the storm, or else you're not going to be able to get to the next level, because that storm is designed to make you grow in order to get to that next level. And whatever that level is, I'm not talking about just earning more money. It's like, how do I make my marriage better? How do I be a better dad? How do I be a better friend? How do I listen better? So, man, I love that, bro.
It was that we'll get into more of that, but it's like, dude, the addictions that you don't realize are addictions. The clicks, the what you fall back on when something really goes wrong, whether it be food. I really got into food. I don't know about you, but I got into fucking food, dude. It was releasing the same dopamine as, like, when I used to party. I was like, oh man, I just fucking eat a sleeve of these Oreo cookies, dude, and just milk. And I was like,
well, you know what's funny?
I could smash some food. Dude.
I had this, like, flashback to when, like, I first met you. Never knew you were going through all this. I knew something was off, but you're a great masker. You have the ability to just keep going. Like, I would be able to do that. I remember riding my bike, being negative $2,400 in my bank account, and having to go train someone then who was probably worth
50
like
million.
2 million, or you know what I mean? Like, and it was just this crazy, and I would just put my face on, I'd be fine.
Yeah.
And you have the ability to do that. But I had this flashback. You're much leaner in your face now, big time.
Oh, really?
I think that's one thing that you notice when you stop drinking is you lose the inflammation and your face
right
looks
here.
leaner. Yeah.
Yeah. First thing that goes, dude, is
For
the puffy grill.
Yeah. But it's like, I haven't seen you like that, but it was like, I had this flashback to like what you looked like when I first met you. And it wasn't like, oh my gosh, Alex is 800 pounds.
When did you come on?
It's a little 2 years this month, bro.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was June of 2022.
Flames, dude.
Yeah. Because I remember our first meeting.
I might have been fucked up talking to you. I'm serious.
Yeah.
I was a functioning fucking drunk, dude.
Wow.
I could smash 4 martinis at a lunch and just get after it. You know what I mean?
What was that thing that was finally like, yeah, enough's enough? That rock bottom moment for
There's
you.
There's a few things, and I'm still like, I feel great. Like I'm not tempted by the darkness anymore. Mm-hmm. That's when you stop thinking about what you're missing, or I wish I could do that. Oh my God, I want to get fucked up, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. You know, I want to go to the strip club. Oh God, I love strip clubs. You know, I want to, like, there's a lot of darkness in a lot of these things. Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, like pitch black darkness. And the minute that those get like really, not even in your rear view means you can still see them. Mm-hmm. And if you can see it, you can be it. But when it starts to become like it's not even in your vision, you like, oh, like to where you feel sick. Like, no, dude, I can't drink. Mm-hmm. Why? Like, because it literally jacks up 10 days of I lose 10 days with one day. and you believe it, and you're not, and it takes time. And so I'm still building, as far as like any substances, anything like that. Like, I was never like a full blown drug addict or full blown alcoholic, but I definitely I had like spots of my life where that's how I coped with stress. I coped with stress with partying and affirmation from the wrong people.
Yeah.
Right. So I used a superpower like charming or whatever. Dude, if I go around and I needed women to hug me and tell me I was handsome, and I wanted to be drunk so I was loose and I didn't feel as bad about being in there or whatever.
Spend most of the bar, all
right?
that. Yeah.
And it's really just my kids knowing being around the people that I do, you know, aspire to be like, you know. And I also don't want to. It was the moment that really caught me, and we've got a little bit of time here to tell the story. I took my kids to a concert, right? And my little brother and I, shout out to Lincoln, I love that kid so much. We go to I don't even know what concert this is. Like, dude, I don't know. It's a trash ass concert, okay? And we take them down to the Fillmore, and I don't know how this happened, but my little brother and I got tasked with chaperoning my son, my daughter, her friends, and my son's friends, right? And I'm like, oh God, this is going to go one of two ways for me. I wasn't quite out of my, and I'm like, I'll have a couple drinks. So the kids go wait in line. It's a bunch of teeny bopper kids, like that's all kids. You guys go wait in line. We're going to go into the bar. And we go in and I'm like ordering like double tequilas, shooting them. So, and I didn't realize, but I'd probably done like 8 shots already.
Dang.
And I'm talking like in 45 minutes, 45 minutes. So I went in feeling good, thinking like I just needed to get like that. And then once I go in, I'll be fine. And then for the few hours I'm in here, I can handle this nonsense, right? No. Go in the minute I walk in, right to the bar. So I wasn't even aware that I was with my kids. Like I didn't even care. I was thinking, we'll be fine. We're Ubering out of here. We're going here. We're doing that. Like, they're not even going to know.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not like they're going to be having fun and I'm going to be with my little brother and we're going to go home and everything's going to be fine. No. End of the night comes. I'm like, the show's already over? Everyone's like, yeah. So we leave. I go back home. Somehow, I get in. And I started to like get sick. I drank so much. And I like threw up. And my son comes into me and he was like, are you okay, Dad? Dude, and I couldn't even see him. I could just hear him. And I was like, oh yeah. And I stood up to like be like, oh, I'm fine. When I stood up, I was like so out of it, I fell. I'm not a little guy.
Sure.
You know, at the time I was like, you know, I'm 6'3", like 230.
Yeah.
235 maybe because of all the partying. And dude, you could hear it in this like boom in the house. And then he was like, "Did you need some water?" And he brought me this like little glass of water, dude. He's a kid, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember being like, oh God. And I was so out of it. It was like a shot glass and I like shot it. Like muscle memory. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, and I just knew that I had fucked up. Mm-hmm. Like I knew that whatever the memory that I had just stamped in his head was forever. I didn't realize that right that moment, but in the morning, I knew that I just like branded a memory in my son and my daughter's mind of me not having the discipline, not being responsible, not being the guy, the stud, to make sure everyone's home safe, make sure everything's all good. And we get in the car and I'm taking him to school, and it was a fucking school night. I'm taking him to school, and my son was like, "You were really drunk last night, Dad." And he tried to kind of like laugh it off, but he wasn't okay. Yeah. My daughter, she could care less, truly. Like she was like, "You were fine," you know. But my son was like, I could see the disappointment and the sadness and concern.
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's it. Fuck that. I will never have a dad bod. I will never be a drunk. Yeah. I will never be a drug addict. That if I was to die today, that last memory of me to my son was I was a drunk piece of shit. Yeah. And I made bad decisions and I was irresponsible. That's what's good. That's what it is." And so it was like, I mean, boom. Made it. I mean, and it wasn't long. That was actually maybe 2 days later, I was in the shower begging for a change. I need something has to come. Like I can't. Like why does this keep happening? How do I not have the control to like stop drinking? Why do I have to get that fucked up? Yeah. Can't just have a cocktail with Nate as his new fire pit. I have to have 14. Yeah. And your wife's like, "Why did you? Alex is great, but fuck, likes to get fucked up." You know what I mean? Like that was me. Yeah. You know, like people are like, "No, he's great company. He's not like he's mean or anything, but he likes to turn up." And so it was that moment for me where even like physical, like fitness and everything else, like I want to be the dad that the kids are just like, they're proud of having. Yeah. Like they're like, "No, dude, my dad, you know."
I want to be that guy that doesn't have skeletons in his closet.
That too.
You know, like I have had skeletons and I'm okay with, like, I think this is part of this podcast is I know I'm not able to talk about something. Like if I'm going to talk about it, I better be living it. I'm not going to be a chubby trainer, you know?
That's why I love what we're doing.
So I'm like, I'm proud of you, dude. Like grateful for your friendship, grateful for like the journey you've been through as well. And I'm grateful that like you're willing to even talk about it. So I think as dudes, we like to throw it all under the rug. Yeah, I'm good. Whatever, Always. Man, I'm good. I'm great, you know? And I don't think we share the highs. It's like if you want to impress someone, share your wins. If you want to impact them, tell them what you've been through. Mm-hmm. And I know you're helping people just by sharing your story, bro.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's a good place to wrap this one. Yeah, that was fire. Seed Time and Harvest Podcast, episode 4. That's a wrap.
Boom.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you.
Of course.
Next time.